Welcome to the 113th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome, returning viewers. And for those of you watching us for the first time, we're so glad you could join us. Now, on today's adventure, we will be going to Prince Edward County. We went to Wellington and Picton. We went to the yarn store in Picton. We went to Alpaca Farm in Picton. We went to a cider place in Picton. But we'll talk all about that in our adventure piece. You don't want to miss it. And we're actually going to talk to the lady from the wool shop.
Rosehaven Yarns.
Rosehaven Yarns. And there's a workshop coming up there that we're going to talk about also, and give you information about that if you want to join that. But before we begin all that today, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
So May is wearing the Anguli cowl, and it's by Hilary Smith Callis, and we've shown this a lot of times, not this one specifically, but it is a fantastic pattern because it's an easy just throw on and wear, and it's light. And it stays
warm
put.
Too.
Sometimes it's warm. And you can either stripe it just by doing the stripes yourself, or you can use self-striping yarn. We've done this in a lot of ways. The reason why we picked this one for May, this is King Cole Finesse Cotton Silk DK. And this was purchased at Rosehaven Yarns when we went there, which would have been before years.
Before COVID, yes.
Exactly.
So it's been quite a while, but
Exactly.
it was really great to return there
Exactly.
and see everybody again. So it was great. So can't wait to share that adventure with you today.
So that's what May is wearing, and I am wearing the Engaged, and that's one of the Lola's Choice. And so it is this bandana, and then it's beaded. You do the beads separately, and then you can just slide it on. It's really quite interesting, and it holds it in place. This is Camarose Love Tanned, and it is a linen, and it's lovely. So that's the yarn, and I'm quite happy with it. I thought last time I kind of explained what it was, but I thought you'd like to see how it is.
It looks great on there.
And I can see that there are other kind of kerchiefs that I've made before that I might be making these little beaded parts for.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, it
Looks
kind of
good.
makes it a little sparkly.
Blings it up.
Exactly. So that's what we're wearing, and next we're going to talk about finished objects. Finished objects. Well,
Colleen has been busy.
I have been busy. So we have done a lot of driving.
Yes, we went on a mini vacation.
Exactly. So we've done a lot of driving, which means May drives and I knit. And I had to finish one of these basic pom-pom beanie hats. And that's by Destiny Meyer. And it is a fantastic pattern. You use chunky yarn, and it works really nicely.
Car knitting, I guess.
Car knitting, exactly. This is the kind of knitting that you can do without even really looking at it a whole lot. And once you know what the pattern is, you can kind of work that through. So it's easy for me to help May navigate a little bit, even if I'm knitting anyway. So I use Bernat Softy Chunky, which is lovely yarn, machine washable. And here we go. So we're going to start the parade of hats. So this is the one that the knitting was almost done, and I had to put the pom-poms on. And we have these little tags that we had printed up.
They make it look so professional. I love that.
I really like
love that little tag thing going on. And you made the pom-poms yourself?
Made the pom-poms, yes.
But not in the car.
No, pom-poms were not. I did a lot of hats, but not pom-poms in the car.
Those are so cute. That's great. Now, what size would this be?
It is technically, it's a 6 to 12 month size, but I always make it a little longer.
They can roll it up if they wanted to.
They can roll it up if they want, but I've made it a little taller so it would last a little longer.
That's great. That's going to be good in our little booth.
Exactly.
That we're going to be.
This was the whole plan. So here is another one of these wee hats.
Lovely. In pink because of the movie Barbie. That's cool.
Well, this is a muted pink, but
Yes.
I like it anyway. Now, this is it's the next size up, so toddler to child, and it's just one pom-pom. And there is a little trick, and if you want to show, if you open up the hat, there's a trick to having your pom-pom stay that way, and that is to sew it on with a button.
Right.
So it makes it stable, and you can tighten it up really nicely, and so it will stay put.
Now, did you do that with these ones also, or don't?
You don't have to with the two little ones, because
Oh,
the
okay.
pom-pom isn't as heavy, and I grabbed enough stitches.
That's a great tip.
It is. Actually, it's funny. I made one for my great nephew, and when his mom saw what was going on, she went, "That's how they do that." I went, "I don't know if that's how they do it. That's how I do it." There we go. All right, some more hats. Still brunette, softy, chunky. So here's a nice, lovely little cream color.
Again, you have the tag, which makes it look professional on all of them.
Exactly.
It's lovely.
And there's another one.
These are going to be fun to sell. Have you priced these yet or not yet?
You know what? That is my bane of my existence. I do not know how to price things. So if any of you have any ideas of how to price things for booths, comment down below. Let me know.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
It's a tough one.
You know, when we're all these crafters and we do all these things, like
Yeah.
you never really get your money, your material, yes, but you never get your time or
Right,
anything
and
like
I'm
that.
not panicked about that. I just want it to be fair for people, but I don't want to be
And
basically handing
you
it to
have
them.
to have a market value too. I mean, you
Exactly.
can't price it at $90 or, you know,
Could only sell one that way.
because market value, you're not
Right.
going to get that.
Right.
So it's a tough one. So, but
It
if you do have ideas out there on how to price your items, that would be really helpful.
That
for
would
us.
be great.
And we are going to do the booth, and some of you have asked us where we're going to be because you live in the area, and we really appreciate that. I hope
Mm-hmm.
you can come to visit us. But we will get back to you at some point. Colleen will email you back about where we're going to be.
Yeah, I'll
and
figure out
because
a
you're
way
in
to
the
do that.
area.
Exactly.
So that you'll know where we are and you can come by and say hello. That would be great.
Exactly. And guess what? One more hat. Okay, there you go. So it's one of the larger
Right.
ones. It's got the button inside, so that's going to hold that pom-pom steady.
Yes, and the reason why we haven't got back to you or you haven't gotten back to people is because we have been on that mini vacation, so
Mini
we
vacation.
apologize for that.
That's
but
right.
We're back.
All right. So basic pom-pom beanies, Destiny Meyer, brilliant pattern. If any of you are thinking about knitting for Christmas, this is a great pattern. Great pattern.
I love these tags. Now, where do you get the tags?
I think
Was it out west?
it's from out west, and
Mm.
I think it was Brick Bubble. I think I will double check, and I will make sure I include that in the
Put that
show
on.
notes.
Okay, that would be great.
So that's that. Now, my next two finished objects are also for the booths, and it is the Christine button cowl.
I love this cowl.
And it obviously has a button in. So there is one of them. I'll let you hold
Thank
that
you.
up so you can see what it looks like.
I
And
love
then
this stand. This is great.
it is a great stand. And there's another one. So this is the Charisma Tweed by Loops and Thread. And they still have it at Michael's. It's basically about 1.5 of these balls. So if you bought 3 balls, you'd get 2 scarves. And then, of course, you have to go pay money for buttons.
Right, and the buttons can be a little pricey.
Exactly.
But as you know, Colleen had given a tip in another podcast that we will go to a secondhand store like the Goodwill in our area.
Right.
And you look for a code or whatever. We
Right.
have those buttons, and then you can take them
Right.
off and use those if
Exactly.
That
Now,
way
for
you
any
can
of you who go to Fabricland and you're a member at Fabricland, you do get buttons at 50% off,
Right.
so that's also good. I know Michael's has some buttons and there are coupons, so that's another way to save some money on buttons.
Now, have you priced these yet either? You don't know that either.
I haven't priced them yet, but I'm working on it.
Right.
So there's a couple
The
of
thing is,
cows.
you're not getting your yarn wholesale prices either.
No,
you're
I'm
paying
not.
full price for
Exactly.
the yarn.
Yeah,
And that's going to be a tough one too.
it is.
It
But
is.
we have how many weeks? A week and a half?
Week and a half.
Oh dear, a week and a
yes.
half to figure it out, but we will figure it out.
Yes, if you want to come to our first one, it is in Lambeth.
Exactly.
So just so that you know that. If you're in the area, you know Lambeth. So that'll be at the community center.
All right, so those are my finished objects. And May, finished objects for you?
I do.
Let's get these hats out of the way.
There's so much stuff going on. But you were busy when we
I
were
was
away.
busy. Yeah,
I
you
go,
were
we'd
driving.
be in the car and I'd see Colleen knit and it would be like a pink hat. And then I'd turn around like 10 minutes later and it would be like a brown hat. And I was like, what the heck is going on? You're a fast knitter.
There we
but
go.
a good knitter.
Oh,
Good.
thank you.
Now, finished objects. What had happened was one of our friends had gone out west to visit their son. And during that visit, the son has played Dungeons and Dragons, if you're familiar with that game. It's a board game. There's never really a scale for Dungeons and Dragons, but the son had kind of requested that I do the scale 1 to 60, which is a
Right.
very tiny, it's kind of like
Tiny,
a board
tiny,
game,
tiny,
to make some miniatures. And I think it's a thing. I didn't know Dungeons and Dragons on the board game was a thing. But it is, and I looked on the YouTube and they have like a miniature bar with miniature tables and a fireplace, and he requested a bar and a fireplace and some tables and chairs, and there's some other things too. So I took on the challenge.
Yes, she did.
I'm used to 1 to 12 inch scale. This is 1 to 60, so very tiny. So anyway,
tiny.
here is a little fireplace that I've finished.
It is great.
Yes, so
Your paint job and all the texture of the bricks.
technically it's not really finished. I have to put in a little fire here.
Oh, wow.
And how I'm going to do that is with silicone, and then you paint the silicone to look like
Okay.
flames, and then I'm going to put in some little pieces of wood so we have a fire.
Beautiful.
Very tiny. Now, also I did this little treasure chest. That was kind of a little bit of a challenge too. But how you get this little look around here, Colleen, is that you just get some cardboard and you drop some glue dots in it.
Really?
And then you paint it silver, and then it looks like it's...
It looks like it's metal.
metal, yeah.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
It's all those little things that make it fun, really.
Exactly.
So those are some things I'm working, finished, and I'll show you when we talk about works in progress. Have we done that yet?
No, not yet.
Works in progress, I'll show you what I'm working on and
Okay.
other parts of it. But it's been fun in between trying to do, like I considered at the TV area doing it.
Right.
Because it's so tiny and it's not that messy. And I keep it on a tray.
Yes. Very
So,
organized.
But other than that, we've been busy doing other things too.
That's for sure.
Yes. So there you go.
Those are our finished objects. Next, we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is just barely started, but I was talking to May and I'm thinking about Christmas. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, if I'm going to get things done before we have to worry about booths, I'm going to have to do a little bit of Christmas stuff. So this is A House is Not a Home Without a Pet. It's a cross stitch. And I managed to find this at Lens Mills. So if you're in Ontario, you'll know what a Lens Mills is. And it's amazing to me what comes with this. But the nice thing about it is, let's say you wanted to try cross stitch and you've never done it. This is a kit. Nobody that I was making this for will watch. So it was $2.99. So what you get is this wooden piece that's got all these holes. It's got the hanger with her. You can tidy it up a little bit. It has all of the floss that you need to do it. There is a needle. There are instructions. And so this is what it's going to look like. A house is not a home without a pet, because the person that says for has a pet. And so I've just got it started. I'm just at the very top. Most often in cross stitch, for those of you who do cross stitch, you know you start at in the center. But for this one, because every hole is dealt with, then you just can start at the top and work your way down. So that's why it started at the top.
You know, when I see that and the amount of work is involved in that and the tediousness of it, and I think of all the things that you have to do, and that you've actually got time to do that, it's amazing.
Well, you know what? I have to, because I am so busy and because I'm doing a lot of knitting, I have to change what my hands are doing.
Oh, okay, that makes
So
sense.
I changed the weight of yarn that I'm doing. So I've changed from big needles to smaller needles and do that. And I also want to change so that I'm not just knitting. I have had, what did we call it? Trigger thumb. Before.
I think the trigger thumb is from Amazon when you go on there and do it.
No. I click with this hand. It's never the thumb. The thumb's always from knitting. Oh, she's just such a funny girl. Oh, dear. All right. No more resin for her. That's all I'm saying. All righty. So my second work in progress, once again, dealing with Christmas, is a basket weave cowl. And that pattern's by Stacy Keitzer. And this is nice. It's a great pattern to do if you want to teach somebody to learn how to knit, because you're knitting in a circle and because you're going to learn how to do knits and purls. So basket weave is usually 3 knits, 3 purls, and that's what this is all the way around. And then every 3 rows you flip it and do the other one. And so this is Loops and Threads Charisma. It's similar to the things that I'm doing for the other cowls, but this doesn't have it's not tweed. And the reason why I'm stressing that is because the tweed has 85 meters to the ball, and the Charisma that's just plain has 100 meters to the ball.
Wow.
So it's different, and so if you need a certain amount, just keep an eye on that. I got caught out a couple of times with that, so I'm just going to let you know that.
Really nice needles. You want to talk about those needles? They look lovely.
I do. So tell you about needles.
Is that trigger finger thing again?
No trigger finger. So what was happening was, having been in the car and having knit a lot and having used metal needles, click, 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 click. May said, oh, there's the click of the needles. And I thought, oh, maybe we need to not be clicking my needles so much. So I went into my needle stash. This is once we got home. And I found my, guess what kind of needles?
Looky.
I found my looky, like it, whatever you want to say, needles. And I thought I'm going to use those. So that's what that is. I haven't had those out for a long time. Oh, they're lovely. And they don't make that much noise.
There you go. I wasn't complaining about the noise. I was just observing.
That's what
It's
she
an
tells
observation.
me. That's what she tells me. So those are my works in progress. And May, how about you? Works in
Again,
progress.
we were on vacation. I've been editing videos. We had a lovely vacation. But when we got home, I've been working on those little miniatures that I just talked
Right.
about, the Dungeons and Dragons. I've been working on a little table. I found that it was a little bit big, just a tad too big. Although
Right.
you can look at this and think that was too big. But I've been working on that. Again, I used the same technique on the table as I did
that's
on
great.
that chest. And I have a little smaller one. You may not be able to tell it's a little smaller.
You're really being careful. I'm watching her do all her math well.
Yes, I have to calculate, but it was a little bit, just a tiny bit too big, I think, that one, but we'll see. Anyway, those are the things I've been working on. Very tedious, but I've been really enjoying that challenge.
Good. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
All right. So those are our works in progress. And next we're going to talk about our adventure.
As I said before, on our venture, we went to Prince Edward County. I keep wanting to say Prince Edward Island, Colleen, but I'm going to say it. If I do, I'm sorry. But
okay,
it's
no
Prince
problem.
Edward County, which is absolutely amazing little county, and it's 160 kilometers east of Toronto. Now, why we ended up there, we've been there before COVID,
Yes, we have.
but how we ended up there, one of our friends was kind enough to let us her place for a few days, which was very generous of her, because I know she doesn't let everybody go there, and so we really appreciated that. And if you're ever listening, we want to say a big thank you to you, so thanks very much. It was a wonderful trip. It's actually a wonderful place. There's a lot of wineries. Now, Colleen and I like going to Niagara-on-the-Lake to wineries. And there may be ostentatious Niagara-on-the-Lake in comparison to the county, Prince Edward County.
Yeah, it's definitely different. That's right.
Yes, it's different, but in a good way. Like it's more like barn, kind of down to earth kind of a way, as
Exactly.
opposed to, Enniskillen and
Right.
and the Twin Sisters or the Sisters Place in,
Yeah,
in Niagara. They're very huge. And anyway, we loved our trip there. And what we'd like to talk about is the store that we went to in Picton, in that area, on the island. And it really is an island because there's 3 bridges and 1 ferry that takes you onto the island. And the store there has been amazing. Like I said, we visited before COVID. It was really nice to see Leslie. The reason why we wanted to feature Leslie in her store was because they're having a retreat in the fall. And it's called the Fall Knit Retreat. And it is November the 10th to the 12th of 2023. There's classes. You can go online and see all about it. It's going to be at the Hampton Suites in Belleville. It's 10 minutes from the Via Rail, which is very
that's
handy.
brilliant.
We would be
Exactly.
going, but something we can't because of the dates don't work for us.
Right.
The Cabin Boy Knits will be there. So if you're interested in this, go on to rosehavenyarn.com and you can find out the details. I think you might want to start signing up because I think the spaces are filling up quite quickly.
Right.
The other thing is we're going to put in a little bit video of our trip, and on there you could do a screenshot of the flyer that I took a picture of.
That's right. You did take a picture.
It was great. Leslie was wonderful. She was kind enough to take us down to her store to show us how she dyed the yarn, and you'll see that all in the video. Is there anything else you want to talk about this trip to the island there? I think it's becoming popular over the years.
Exactly. There's many between the time where we were there before and now. So it's kind of pre-COVID and post-COVID. There are so many more wineries, and there's lots of places that are making cider. There's
Yeah, there
a
is.
couple of alpaca farms. Like there's all different kinds of things going on, and lots of bike tours going on as well.
The biking would be great there. If we
Exactly.
go back, I'd love to go on some of those bike trails.
Exactly.
There's a bike trail that was an old railway that goes for miles and miles and miles. So if you're a biker, hiker,
Yeah.
all those things. Now, Picton itself has about 5,000 population, so it's not a
Okay.
huge little town, but cute little town. And you'll see in the video when we show you that where we ate.
It
Now,
was good.
the island, the Prince Edward County, has about 25,000 population.
Okay.
But I think in the summer with all the tourists, that definitely goes up.
That's right.
They have music festivals, they have skateboarding, they have water activities, they have markets, they have biking, they have dining, they have birding in the spring.
My goodness.
They actually have
Okay.
a whole
Things I
festival.
didn't know. Yeah.
Hockey, there's Gord Downey. We've talked about this before when we went there before. Gord Downey from the Tragically Hip. He lived there for a few years. Sir Johnny MacDonald, one of the prime ministers in Canada, he lived there for about 3 years.
Oh my goodness.
There's lots of authors and painters and songwriters and chefs.
Oh my
And
goodness.
It's
a
just
busy
a little place to go. I think
Exactly.
but anyway, I'm going to stop talking about it because I'm just love it. And so we'll put the video in and watch it all the way through, and you can see about some of the things that we experienced when we were there, and then we'll talk about it when we come back. Toothbrush, Colleen, that's all I'm going to say. Toothbrush. Now, this was when we got to Wellington, and it was we were about 5 minutes from the water, which was amazing. We had gotten some groceries, and then I just
was
walked down the
beautiful.
street, and here it was. And then this happened to be the same day, the next day, where we went into the markets and everything.
Exactly.
And here are the markets.
So this is the Wellington Community Market, which is right in downtown Wellington. And there was woodworkers, there was some jewelry.
Typical market things. We did end up going to a soap one, as you can see when it's coming up. There was a nice little lady there that she was encouraged me to take pictures of her little booth.
Sewing and knitting.
Sewing and knitting, and she wanted me to enter the inside of it, which was kind of cool. Her husband pulls this little trailer, and as you can see, well, how innovative was that rack? And then she was like, go inside, take photos and video.
And it was amazing. She had it really well set up, and prices were on everything, so it was easy to figure out that way as well.
It was like your little store on wheels.
Exactly. There were dog bandanas, there were project bags for knitters.
Hats.
There was hand knit and hand crocheted hats, which were great. She did a really fantastic job.
Really nice, those little bags we saw the other day too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was kind
And
of
some
neat.
cookies. They kept offering us cookies, and we kept walking by, saying no thanks, trying to be good.
Trust me, we made up for it later on.
I know, we have to save room for French fries.
But there was Lake Ontario again, which is awesome. Not Lake Lake
Ontario.
Ontario, yes, it was.
There we
Lake
go.
Ontario.
And this is honey pie hives and herbals. And you can see there's soap. And there's beehive candles. And then we went to an alpaca booth. And it is Stonefield Eden alpacas. And
Now this lady, Colleen, knit all those mitts.
And I
but
love that pattern. I've got to find it and try it.
She also, but she didn't knit the gloves. She
Gloves,
said,
no.
but the mitts felt really nice.
They look like they'd be really warm. So
Yeah.
I think they may be some Christmas presents if I can find
That's
that
a great
pattern.
idea.
for
I don't know if
people.
that was a doll's outfit there or what
I
that was
think
for.
it
Too
might be
small
a-
for a little one, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But beautiful stuff. And of course there was bread. Again, we didn't buy anything.
We thought about it.
Yes, but the bread place was quite busy actually. People were lined up.
Exactly.
So she did a great job with that. Loved the shirts. I liked what was on the shirts. One said a little bit dramatic.
Who's a little bit dramatic?
I don't know if it was you or me they were talking
There you
about.
go. Expensive and difficult.
I
That
don't
could
know
be
who
me.
that was. Okay, on to our little next spot. We're just driving along. And oh, lo and behold, there's another market.
So this is the Wellington Farmers Market. So it was in a farmer's field, and lo and behold, resin.
There was a little resin jewelry, which was cute, very nicely displayed here with her, all the same idea was good. It's a typical farmer's market, you know. We're heading off to Picton, and Leslie that owns Picton store, she can take it from there. We went down there, and she's going to show us her dyeing some yarn, and then we'll talk a little bit about Leslie after she's finished talking. So how do you dye this? Like, what's the process here?
Basically, you take the mohair, I soak it in water and citric acid, and then I heat up my lovely pots and throw in some water and keep it fairly warm, not boiling, and then I use the Dharma acid dyes, and I'm supposed to measure, but I don't necessarily.
So you get different yarns every time?
Well, I have a recipe for the ones that are upstairs. These ones I was sort of using up what was on the table. So yeah, I was playing around with some colors.
That's cool.
Coming to Toronto to Untangled in September 2nd for a pop-up. Yep.
Good.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so Amelia's invited me to come and bring my stuff. So I thought, well, I've got these 9 skeins. I'll just make them a one-off colors, kind of play with them.
Right.
So, yeah. Wouldn't it be like a nice little love note, nice fall love note?
Oh, it would be beautiful.
nice.
You've got plans, I can tell.
Yeah, and she's going to keep my yarn for a month. So I got fingering weight and stuff. And then I just got, this is all my goodies underneath.
That's great.
Exciting.
Nice.
And this one is my next one I'm going to work on. So this is my, this is going to be Knitted Bliss is the base. So it's cashmere, 16.5 micron merino with cashmere and yak in it. So it's a little creamier. And because it's not superwash, it won't dye as bright. Superwash changes the way it takes dye. So these, I can use the exact same recipe and it'll be this kind of undertone, toned down, like a little more quiet. Which of course, I tend to get loud and colorful, but
That's okay.
You're very creative.
yeah, so it's fun. That's my chart
Right.
of colors. They don't really turn out exactly like that, but I've gotten to know them so well.
Oh,
So
that's good.
yeah, it's fun.
So how long have you been dyeing?
Ooh, good question. I started when I was doing my felting. I started dyeing silk, so that would have been over 12 years ago. Because I
Okay.
was a fiber artist at the Arts on Main Gallery in town.
Okay.
And then the person that owned this store was retiring and offered to sell it. And I'm like, ooh, I can knit and felt all day long while I
That's
own
right.
a yarn shop. Yeah, no.
No.
So I've had this shop 10 years now.
That's
So I
have
still do, yeah, so I still do a lot of felting. Like that's one of my pieces. There's
it's
pieces on the walls behind you. And then this is the lovely, all the felting merinos. And we've got into Maori bat for needle felting
Right.
and pre-felts and wool squares for people like doing needle felted landscapes and things. And we sell the silk. And I'm even getting into dyeing the silk to sell to felters.
Oh my goodness.
We have curly locks. We got all the goodies because I love the goodies.
That's right.
Good.
Against the back wall,
Right.
and so I've changed a lot and opened it up for studio space because we can put 4 felters in here. Deanne runs our knitting classes down here. So long as you're not too much over
Right.
5'7", you're fine.
Yeah, that's cool. The beams and all.
Yeah, and so I'm playing with the pre-felt. I'm working on a pre-felt sample as I'm dyeing in between.
Oh my goodness.
And then the
You're
sock
busy.
blanks, we've got a whole bunch of sock blanks and people have been asking to learn to dye. And I'm like, okay, well, I was taking photographs of those because I thought, well, we'll have a class and you can dye right on the sock blanks, which
Right.
is kind of fun.
Nice.
And then you undo them and knit up some funky socks, right?
Good. Right.
So it'll be less than 2 feet this way. And then it'll be 17 inches between the shoulders and 18 inches on each thing. I've been doing the math and I'm like, this is
So why is
insane.
that? Is it because you
This is
Because you-
partially felted wool.
Okay.
so when you
So-
wash it, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
so
It's
when
gonna
you
shrink?
felt it, when you keep working it, like what I'm going to do, I'm going to decorate it with all kinds of roving and, all kinds of little colors and designs. And then as it shrinks, it will shrink 40%.
Wow.
Yeah, so like this would have been probably about like up to here when
Oh.
I started, right? When I was laying this guy.
Right.
Yeah, no, it shrinks a ton. Because
Huh.
a friend's like, oh, you should teach a class on this. And I'm like, yeah, I can't fit me in here. Let alone 3
won't
other
work.
people.
Yeah.
This is the drive-in, secret beach, which is not really secret.
Oh.
Beaver Meadow, which is the conservation, which is, I was thinking about all the iridescent, like dragonfly wings. This is
Right.
North Beach. This is Hikes Point. Yeah, so Ciderlicious, of course. Dunes Day, of course, because it's sandbanks in the dunes.
Right.
And this is our favorite ice cream, rhubarb ginger.
Oh my goodness. I've never heard of such a thing.
So that was really interesting, being down at the basement there and seeing how everything went on. And then now we're in the store, which is up above. which is amazing. And you can talk more about this, Colleen, because you're the yarn person.
Exactly. So they've got some baskets, they've got candles, they've got so many different kinds of yarn. It's bright, and the samples are nice that they're up there. And it's beautiful. Gives you all kinds of ideas.
And Erin, she was the manager. She was behind there. You didn't see Erin. And I think coming up, these are all the yarns that she was just talking about, and all the ones that she dyes down in the basement.
That's
which
right.
I thought her colors were absolutely amazing.
Exactly. And they're named after places in Prince Edward County. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, it was really cool. Now, there was something that Leslie talked about
Having a collaboration,
yes,
with Leo and Roxy,
yes.
exactly, and it's called the Rocky Horror Knitting Show. So there's some Leo and Roxy yarn, but there is this collaboration, and it's happening soon. I think it's up for pre-orders right now. There it is.
Yep, the Rocky Horror Knitting Show. If you wanted more information, you can always email them or whatever. And the Leo and Roxy is, of course, is our little place here, is in St. Thomas, which is awesome.
Yep. And look at the buttons. Look at all the yarn. Oh my goodness, it was beautiful. So many colors. It's so hard to know what to do.
Yes, so how do you know? Like, it'd be like a kid in a candy store.
That is exactly how it feels.
Yes, and I love her samples too that she had around the store.
Exactly, they're beautiful.
And I think we need to get some of these boxes for our house.
It would be great.
Wouldn't it? I wonder where she got those boxes from. But I think that would be a great idea.
Take a look at IKEA. Maybe they would have those kind of things. Now there's all kind of embroidery thing, and I just had seen a little bit of it.
That's what I feel like that lady did.
After you've spent time with me in the yarn shop.
Oh yes, so there's the fall knit retreat thing if you want to, take a quick thing of that. And there's Leslie, and yeah, great trip. So then we went on for lunch, and I met these people, and it was pretty rough out there as it was a little bit windy. And we had a good conversation, but this was called the Lighthouse Restaurant.
Exactly.
And Colleen and I had, of course, French fries and gravy. Quick lunch. Off we go again. And where are we going this time, Colleen? We're going to the Shed, and it's Alpaca Farm.
Chetwynd Farm.
And shop.
And lots of people on bicycles. Look at those big knitting needles. Unbelievable.
Cool. I think that's where they live.
I think it is.
It's kind of neat. And talked to the fellow in there to ask if I could take some photos. He was more than happy to let me take photos.
Exactly. And the alpacas look like they'd already been sheared, because look at them.
Yeah, and they're so well taken care of.
Exactly.
So here are the photos, and also the fellow that owns this too. Really nice. He actually went to Fanshawe College here in London, so he knew all about London, so we had a great conversation. And but really high-end, high quality.
Exactly. They had some felted soaps.
Right.
All different kinds of. There's an alpacapoly, like Monopoly, but for alpacas. It was unbelievable. And beautiful yarn, and they're really nice that they write the name of which of the alpacas was there.
Okay,
Back in the car.
Again. Back in the car again. And we stopped at
The County Cider.
County Cider, which is an amazing place, and the weather was awesome. There's no eating in. You have to kind of eat outside, so it was a perfect day. And we had a couple of pear ciders, and of course the best oven pizza ever.
It was fantastic.
It was wonderful. Okay, on the move again. We just were going and going.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of video, and it gives you a little piece of what we experienced there.
We had quite an adventure that day.
It really was a busy day, but lovely, and
Exactly.
definitely want to go back there sometime.
I just want that pizza.
Yes,
Just want it right now.
How good was that pizza? That's probably the best. It's an oven baked pizza. It was
Yeah.
like the best pizza I've had,
I
and there's
know.
not too much cheese on it.
I think that was a
And
lot of it.
it was really
and
nice.
the crust was so, it was delicious.
I'm just going back there for the pizza.
Okay.
And the
That's a plan.
gelato and ice cream. And, Well,
Okay.
we won't talk about that.
Okay, no. Otherwise, we're going to shut this off and go out and grab food.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. And can you talk a little bit more about the
Yes,
yarn
I
store
just
with
want
us?
to mention a little bit more about the yarn store. So, the one thing, I was just looking on their website, and they have all kinds of classes, and they do it in an interesting way. So they have a number of different patterns that you can go on, and you can kind of decide what you want to do. And then you just sign up to take a class. So there's classes on Sunday from 10 to 12 and 1 to 3 and Thursday 2 to 4. So it's not like you're going to go and take this, like let's say I want to do just on one sock pattern and I have to take that for 4 weeks. You don't have to do that. So you go in, and the lady that does the teaching of these classes will help you with whichever project that you chose to do.
That's a good
So if
way.
you want to do a sock, then she'll help you with the sock. If you wanted to do a shawl, she'll do it with the shawl. So it's set times for the classes, but you can just organize with her what you're going to do.
I like that idea.
I know, I did too. I thought that was really, really wonderful.
And make sure to check out that retreat. It sounds like it'd be a fun time.
Exactly.
And easy access to get there too. So.
Yeah, and I did look at that collaboration with Leo and Roxy. I'm not sure if I have enough time to pre-order, but anyway, that looks kind of fun too. If you like Rocky Horror Picture Show, even though they have to call it the Rocky Horror Knitting Show.
So thank you, Leslie and Erin, for your kindness and your hospitality. We really appreciated being there. So, yeah.
And next we're going to talk about souvenirs. Well, where do I begin? Let's talk about the Wellington market. So this is the community market, which is where we found this. Now you could have bought what we bought at the farmer's market as well. There were 2 separate booths, and we were actually helping that poor girl hold that
Tent down.
Tent
It was
down.
a little windy, so we held
It
down
was.
the tent, and we said, "Oh, we were just at your booth," and sure enough, it was the same place.
Exactly. So let's start with that. So this is,
I can't believe we bought soap.
we did.
Can you
So
believe
this
we
is-
bought soap?
I
You know how much
can.
soap we have in the house?
I know, but I also know why we did this. So this came as this little square of goodies. So there's 4 different kinds of things. And this is the honey pie, hives, and herbals. It's kind of a little flaky right now. And the reason why I picked this up was because I've wanted to try a shampoo bar. So you can make soap that is a shampoo bar. You have to use different percentages of things. So this is called a conditioning shampoo bar. So there's a little piece of that to try. There is some oatmeal chamomile honey soap.
Now, I think with shampoo bars too, you have to use a lot lighter oils from what I understand.
It would make
because
sense.
your hair, my hair being so thin,
Right.
would just go if it was heavy oils
Right.
and heavy. But you don't really, when you do soap, you don't really have a lot of oils. Like
No, not
unless,
too much.
Unless it's a super fat.
That's right. So this is oatmeal chamomile honey soap. This is a lavender soap. And this is the other one that I wanted to try specifically, and it's called Working Hands. So it's for gardeners, and so it's got a little bit of sand in it, so it's going to have a little bit of grit that will help take the dirt off, so which is good.
What do they call it? Exfoliants?
Exfoliant. There's the
The
word
word
of
for
the
the
day.
day.
Exactly. So it came bundled up with some twine.
Cute.
And yeah, it was a great thing, and so now we've got these things to try out.
Maybe we could do a little package like that. Maybe
Yeah,
we
I
could
liked
package
that
something.
idea.
Yeah.
It seemed
Sounds
like
like
a
a
good
cool
idea.
idea. Yeah.
So that's that. Now, yarn store. First of all, Leslie was kind enough to gift us these Knit to Purl 1 Sip to Repeat. And they're lovely, and there you go. They're nice and heavy. They're not going to fall over easily.
And we would do this as a giveaway, but they're really heavy and too hard to pack up.
Exactly.
Otherwise,
So
we would have given away.
I think what we're going to do is just keep them on our
Our desk.
table that we work on, and then if we start to choke in the middle of a podcast, we've got water.
Yes, I like that idea.
So those were very nice. Thank you, Leslie. We really appreciate that. Then May came across this. She said, "What do you think about this?" And so it's a stitched ornament. So it's embroidery. And there it is.
I can't believe I was encouraging you to spend money. I don't
You
usually
did.
encourage
No, you
to
handed it right to me. I went, I didn't even see this. I'm so happy with it. But what May was letting me know, she said, that you thought you could do something similar.
Right.
So we're going to take a look at it once I don't open it until I see you folks. So then I'm going to open it and see. Now what's inside is the laser cut ornament, the DMC embroidery floss, the tapestry needle, adhesive backing, an instruction sheet. So
I like that. That's
looks
gonna be
good.
really
It will be
nice.
pretty.
Really like it.
Yep, it's very, very nice. So I'm happy about that. So that is from the Rosehaven Yarn shop. And of course there had to be some yarn. Now, let's talk about this. Does this bag give you any hint?
Begins with a B.
So I said to May, I was looking at some browns, I was looking at some greens, I was looking at, to make some more of those hats, just to get a different color. And May said, you know what? I think you should pick this. I was in shock, but I think she was right. So this is...
What did you say there, that last one? I think
she was correct. And this is called hot pink because obviously it's hot pink. There you go.
We are going to talk. We're going to do a little series of our trip to Picton and to
Right.
the Prince Edward County. There's a whole trip that we went to all kinds of places. So within the
Exactly.
next 4 or 5 weeks,
Right.
we'll be putting a podcast up every week on different places that we went, like Belleville and Shelburne and Aurora, and we're going to talk about that.
That's
and
right.
one of the times that we went back on our trip, we did go see the Barbie movie. We can talk about that later on.
Exactly.
But you'd be interested. I'll be interested to see what you thought about the Barbie movie.
Let's just say we bought the yarn before we saw the movie. I'm just saying that. But anyway, I'm hoping that I can get 3 hats out of this too.
Yeah, some people like that.
So this is called Chunky Monkey Anti-Pilling.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so
I
it
mean,
should
it's
be good.
different. You know,
Exactly.
It's not normal things that we would purchase, but hey, why
I
don't
know.
we just go outside the box and go crazy and buy pink?
There you go.
There you go.
Well, and then that is the color of Rosehaven Yarns.
Yes. Oh, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that bike out front was kind of cool. Did you
It
like
is.
that? That was cool. I would do that to my bike. Knit
Okay.
it all up and try ride
I'll
it. Except
knit
for,
you a seat cover.
if it unravels on your way, though, you could always be like Hansel and Gretel.
Either that or the yarn goes into your
The
wheel and
spokes. Yeah, that's true.
then
That's
it
not
wouldn't be
good.
good.
Yeah.
There
Okay,
you
let's
go.
not go there. Just
Now,
have a visual.
how about for you, May? Did you get any souvenirs?
Well, you know what? We did go by a store called
Second
what's it called?
time around.
Second Time Around, and it's right into Picton there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love those stores. Like you always find treasures. So I did find a few. I found some shingles for a dollhouse.
Oh,
For
excellent.
the roof,
Yeah.
but I can use them for other things.
Right, absolutely.
I found a little clock that looked like a little dog clock.
Right, Scotty
Little
dog.
Scotty dog.
Yeah.
And I really wanted it for the hands, so
Right.
I got that. But nothing too extravagant. Just a few little items like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was good.
I'm always amazed in those places because, first of all, it's kind of like yarn stores. You see things I don't even see.
Really.
Exactly. And then sometimes I'll show you something you go, I didn't see that. So it's
Right.
interesting. Your eyes just go to different places.
That's
so
right.
it's
That's
good.
true. Yeah. Maybe different heights. Maybe you're a lot shorter than
I am. Not that she's bringing it up. 2 inches shorter. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Anyway, it was
5
fun.
centimeters. That's it.
Yeah, it was fun, and I don't spend a lot of money in the yarn stores. And basically,
No.
those are the only stores that we really go to, except
Yes.
for the little stores down there. The food at that place was awesome too.
It was.
That was great. Souvenir we can't bring home. Those are the kind of souvenirs I like.
Right.
Not cluttering the house.
It's okay. These will go into the booth. We'll see.
We'll see how they go, and we'll let you know if they sell or not. That'll
That's
be
right.
the thing.
That is the question. That's our adventure in Picton. It's just part of our Prince Edward County adventure, so keep watching. Thanks so much for spending time with us. If you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up, comment down below. Tell us what you'd like to see, if there's a story you'd like to see, if there's a price for those items, like those hats and cowls. Give me any tips that you have. I'd appreciate that as well.
Subscribe.
Subscribe because we really like doing this for you. So until next time.
You take care.